Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back. That's right, we are back. We've got a great bunch of stories for you this week. I cannot wait for you to follow on to everything we're covering, and some of it is a little bit of a recap and a lot of whining. In fact, this story is all about whining. We have late-night TV folks complaining, realizing that, well, their time is at an end. But I'm not alone. I've got a friend. His name is Kevin Apollo, and you can follow him on his new channel very soon. In fact, I believe the channel's available now, so you can go follow him now, even before he makes things. How are you doing today, Kevin?
Doing well, brother. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yes. And what are you, the Mount of Apollo, the Thunder of... What are you exactly?
The House of Apollo.
House of Apollo. There you go. So there you go. Go there right now. Subscribe to Kevin, and you won't miss anything. But what Kevin and I did not miss was the catastrophe that happened right before the weekend. The revelation that CBS is going to get rid of its late-night programming, and it may be getting rid of even more than that. But CBS has axed Stephen Colbert, and it wasn't exactly a subtle way, but it wasn't fast either. They're giving him all the way till May 20th to exit the premises. Kevin, what kind of a getting fired or getting canned is this? That's really weird.
Yeah, this is the slowest of slow walks that a person can get. But again, I don't know why anybody's shocked here. I think we almost came close to guessing the number the other night on Pro Show, but from what I saw, the number was over $40 million. And so when the show's losing over $40 million and it has less than 500,000 people in its demo, they were almost as low as low 200s. That means no one is watching your show. Again, there's AMSR YouTube's channels that are doing significantly higher numbers than the Colbert. So why would Skydance want to take on a financial albatross, especially one that's going to arrogantly attack them every 5 minutes? Because they didn't want to bow down to the message. It's a nice fresh start.
Yeah, this is a clean start. In fact, if we take a look at the story itself coming out of Deadline, people are just claiming it's the end of an era. I would say it's the end of all of the eras, because I don't think this genre is going to be around very much longer. What do you think, Kevin?
No, I don't think so, and it's a shame, but it's the problem of the hosts. We like to make fun of the Jay Leno era, especially after the Conan debacle. But people, when Jay Leno and Conan were on their different channels, people talked about late night. Late night was still important. And what have we seen happen since since '09? It's become less and less relevant. It went from water cooler talk to something that induces eye rolls because it's as unfunny as it can get. And who wants to be lectured by someone who's absurdly wealthy with bare minimal talent before you go to bed? To start your next day hard day of work. It's the genre is gone because the people that were put in charge of it killed it.
Yeah, I think that's actually the best analysis I've heard so far. And it's absolutely true, because the whole point of the late night genre was to help you go to sleep, not to give you nightmares, which is all the fear mongering that has been happening on all of the late night programs for several years now. In fact, since probably 2008, 2009, we've been dealing with a very downer late night, program menu. And look, Stephen Colbert, may have been struggling on Thursday night to get through that telecast and, ring in the fact that he was going to be gone. But at least they afforded him an opportunity to say goodbye and, I guess, a chance to, prance his horse around the square for another 10 months before they get rid of him. His wife was at the taping. You had Adam Schiff, I guess, apparently, that he'd already taped with earlier in the evening. And he was told of the cancellation on Wednesday. So he didn't really waste any time breaking the news when he was putting that together on Thursday. This is a stunning reversal, they say, from May, when George Cheeks, the co-CEO, Paramount Global President and Chief Executive Officer of CBS, told Deadline that really likes our hand at 11:30 p.m. Cheeks, who came up in the genre specifically and probably been at that Silver Cup area studios for a long time, was president of late night programming at NBC. The day part is challenging from an ad sales perspective. I love our hand. We have the number one person at 11:30 p.m. for the last 9 years. Well, what a difference a day makes, right, Kevin? Look, what's your analysis of the overall genre? Because I think this is a bigger conversation, especially if we add in Jon Stewart, who is also Paramount, former Viacom, channel entity over at Comedy Central.
Listen again. The genre has been, in a death trap over a decade, and honestly, I would say it probably flatlined, a little after 2016 when a certain someone came down an escalator, and all they could focus on was this one particular person being literally the worst thing on earth. Instead of telling jokes, it turned into pontification, and one-sided at that. So. Listen, the shock and awe is really from the people who were entirely too arrogant to understand what they were doing. They painted themselves into a corner and didn't expect consequences. But you're who cares if you're the number one show for 9 years running when there's no one watching it? It's like, well, it's like getting shot 10 times. But the guy next to you got shot 11. There's no good news here. You're just hemorrhaging out. So it's you again. I'm stuck because I'm blown away by it. You had less than 300,000 people watching your show in the primary demo. And after YouTube kind of corrected itself, they don't even get that impressive views on YouTube, which kind of tells you no one cares for this. For the genre anymore, and it's a crime, right? Because you go back to this was a genre that was essentially Americana. It was an institution, from gosh, why am I brain farting on Ed Sullivan? From Ed Sullivan to Carson, to be the king of late night used to mean something. Now it's just a silly little moniker of an era long gone by, and they have no one to blame, and because of that. I would say they probably helped champion the cause of the new media because people want authenticity. One, they also want a live show, and they want to be entertained. And frankly, that's kind of what our genre focuses on. Yeah, we'll give you news. We may even give you bad news every once in a blue moon, but we're doing it to entertain you and keep you informed, not lecture you and make you feel bad about yourself for existing.
Well, I think some of the weird stuff is that you're looking at this is just another one in the line of failure because the Tonight Show back in 2024, last year, they went from 5 nights a week to 4. They're cutting back on band members at late night. They're changing a lot of these situations for very good reason. You cannot spend the kind of money that it takes to make one of these shows work. You have over 200 employees. You're doing cost savings maneuvers to try to tape 2 shows in one day. This is just a failed experience, and it's not live anymore. If you're pre-taping 2 or 3 or 4 episodes a week, what does that tell you? That you're not bringing like an authentic show to people anymore. You're bringing a pre-taped and poorly navigated $100 million enterprise that is losing $40 million a year, which means you're not selling enough ad revenue to make this thing live. And you know what? I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But when you read through this, it just is kind of a real bummer. And Deadline, believe me, they rarely understand how to write bummer. But this thing is not going to get it's not going to get better. So I don't think the genre will be here anymore. I think that we could pretend that there were 2 different factors here, like the AP tried to do with their article, asking whether or not did money or politics cause Colbert's cancellation. My guess here isn't just the confrontation with the current administration. My guess is primarily they don't make money, and a big corporation that counts money and needs money after an $8 billion purchase is going to want to get their money back. There's not a lot of ways to do that. Go ahead.
I would say, I think, the media outlets naturally are going to be a little obstinate. But Skydance has a fiduciary responsibility to recoup its expenses as quickly as humanly possible. So if that's going to come at the expense of dumping something that sheds over $40 million, and I'm pretty sure that's a liberal estimate, they have to do what they have to do. And again, look at the spending on these shows. Frankly, it's irresponsible. I can watch TMZ or Extra and get the same content the way these shows are being produced now. So and the conversations feel a lot more natural. So you're going here dropping $1 million, $2 million an episode for what? And again, for something no one saw. This has been gluttonous, and it's been gluttonous for over a decade, and there are consequences for it. If you're not going to spend responsibly, it's gonna bite you in the butt somewhere. Anybody who's ever paid attention to a P&L in their lives should have this basic understanding. This isn't business 101. This is high school economics.
Well, and in the course of 7 years, they've lost less than half the ad revenue that the late night shows, the genre, collected. They went from $439 million in 2018 down to $220 million in modern day. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you that over the 6 years that have been tracked in full, you've lost more than half your audience. You can't do that. And you know what? They're not being artificially propped up by the pharmaceutical industry now with all of the excessive ads that they were running. So, I mean, I don't think that they have much future. And our friends over at That Park Place wrote this article here, Kevin, about the WGA calling for an investigation over cancellation. All you have to do is show them the red ink, I think. What do you think?
We know what this is. This is kabuki theater nonsense, leftist loonyism. I guess I'll make up a word for it because we got to find a way to describe it. The Orange Man bad. CBS took an L because they did something they shouldn't have done, and because Adam Schiff and others called in some favors, we're going to pretend there's some impropriety here. When the fact of the matter is, and look, I'm one of those people who thinks that he knew he was getting canceled sooner than we knew. I honestly think that his tirade the day before was him trying to set up I get to leave on my shield moment, his own personal I am Spartacus moment. But you do not get to attack your bosses publicly and get away with it. Anywhere else in this country, that's insubordination. It's a terminable offense. There are no bones about it. You also do not get to be a financial failure and not suffer consequences. There's also no bones about that. So yeah, show them the ledger. There's a lot of red ink in that ledger. So there's really no there. But sure, let's go circle the wagons. Let's go around the troops and do the dog and pony show so that we can make sure that the message gets to feel good about itself for a little bit.
Yeah, look, we could definitely have a long conversation, and I'm sure we will on many live streams this week, but there was a loss of credibility in the late night genre. There's a loss of identity, which you described earlier on. And I think both of those things kind of came to a head, and they lost so much viewership. There was just no way to bring people back. I mean, Puck Media, Matt Bellany, actually did a great piece on this, showing it was purely a financial, fiscal decision. And if you look at the numbers, there was no other way to go. Any final thoughts on this, Kevin? You think we'll see this go fast or slow now after we watch the Colbert crawl out the door each week, with one hand behind his back?
I'll be shocked if Colbert makes it to May. I think he'll probably decide to bow out sometime after the start of the new year, and then maybe come back for one last grand hurrah. But once Colbert goes down, I'm pretty sure Kimmel's going to go fast. And once those two are gone, all the rest, it opens the door for the other networks to do everything else they need to do. I'd be shocked. I think NBC Universal will struggle to try to find a way to hold on to the Tonight Show. I think Jimmy Fallon's probably the only one, but I'm sure that there's going to be a conversation about some kind of a pay cut and some kind of a major change to the to the format if they want to go on. And then honestly, after that, I wouldn't be shocked if shows like Saturday Night Live are next. Because these shows are failing, They're failing because of the choices that they made, and the days of just ignoring it's over. These companies cannot afford it. The networks are bleeding out. They're out of cash. There isn't going to be any new cash coming in soon, and now it's time for hard choices to be made.
You're 100% right. Look, I was looking at this the other day, and I'm thinking, well, this is a perfect way to make room in their schedule for all the sports programming that they're bringing in, because they're bringing sports back to network TV just to try to get people to put their eyeballs back there. And they're major competitions, all these tech companies. So if they're gonna struggle and fight and pay, that's where they're gonna put the stuff front and center, and that'll bring up the ad revenues, which they desperately need. Unlike these live, silly comedy shows that aren't live anymore. Speaking of silly things, folks, do go and check out this amazing man on his new channel, along with his new show with Lauren Connor coming up here at the end of July. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you've got a lot going on, my friend.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's super exciting, right? It's going to be a good time. I love Lauren. Lauren's got some of the best takes out there on the internet. He's fantastic personality too. So I'm really excited to we'll get another side of him and then do some cool fun stuff with him.
Well, be sure to check out Lauren and Apollo again. I think starting July 25th, I want to say, but don't quote me on that. But it is coming out. I'm very much looking forward to it and seeing my friend Kevin once more. Again, you can subscribe to him on his new channel. What's the new channel?
The House of Apollo.
That's right. Even before he's got content, go and subscribe to him over there. After all, we support each other over here as part of the network and just these great group of creators. On that note, we got to ask you, what do you think? Is late night dead? Is it going to survive? Will every other domino fall after this one? And let's ask the final question, which Kevin brought up. Is Colbert going to make it to the end of May? I don't even know at this point. Anyway, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not on The Tonight Show.